Alright, you guys, I am back again with another video, and as promised in my chat review, I was going to be dropping this video today as well. Now, today I'm going to be answering, or really putting my input, I should say, on whether or not I think Patri or Licked, whichever one you want to go with, is stronger or equal to the third eye. Now, if you've been a Black Clover fan for a while, since the anime and all that stuff, if you've been a fan for a while, you probably heard this argument before. People saying that he's weaker than the third eye still, so there's still a good amount that still say that he's stronger than the third eye, and it's still a pretty back and forth debate topic. But I feel like we should definitely really kind of going through, and as I'm kind of rereading the series again and stuff, I kind of noticed a few things that are kind of make it a bit more questionable when you really look into some of the context and the order of how things happen. Now, I am going to be excluding Dark Elf Patri because that is it's blatantly obvious that he is well above the third eye. So I'm not going to be including that Patri. Like I said, it's just because that's the obvious answer. So it's really going to be more lines of the Patri that fought Julius on down. So that's what I'm referring to. Now, Patri's fought really only fought two major people in the entire series. Of course, the first major fight being Yami versus Patri. And of course, the second one, of course, being his fight against Wizard King Julius. But right now, I want to focus purely on Patri's first fight when he's getting introduced, sorry, not introduced, introduced as Lick. So I want to talk about it in that first fight. So when he goes in his first major fight and he fights against Yami, we finally get to understand at least a little bit. We understand like just how why he was so fast when Austin them first met him. And you kind of understand that he essentially uses light magic, which is a really significant power. And he's even able to, really thanks to it, even while being at a disadvantage thanks to Yami's dark magic, he's still able to put up a really good fight against him. Now, the reason why this is important because he actually would have won the fight because when he literally said, I'm going to use my ultimate move, or my strongest move, I should say, not ultimate, thinking of like Beyblade. But when he says he's actually going to use his strongest move, Yami literally states to Asa, yeah, I'm going to go on the defensive, but it's not going to help. Even Asa trying to reflect it back, he even states the only thing that would have been standing would have been the sword. So he's implying that he was literally going to lose that fight and honestly had no way of countering his most powerful technique. That is, of course, when they literally got saved by Ghost, who decided to use Fenrir to open a portal back to them and use his mirror magic to be able to reflect the light. Right back at Patri, dealing a significant damage to Patri because he had to literally take his own attack. Now, after this whole situation happened, that is when we get introduced to the third eye. The third eye, like I said, being the three most powerful mages in the Eye of the Midnight Sun. Like I said, they had a pretty short introduction, being Veto, Raya, and Fauna. All of them being, kind of these pseudo-possessed bodies. I don't know how to really explain. Fauna's the only one that was actually human and just simply got transported into an elf. But regardless, the third eye, when they get introduced, are extremely powerful. We even see them when they take on Yami and stuff, just how strong they are. And it kind of helps to back in fact when Patri actually says, yes, allow me to introduce them. They are the strongest three in the Eye of the Midnight Sun. So he, and this is where the whole debate comes from because Patri himself explicitly states that, well, they're stronger than he is. So that should obviously put it into that fight. And it does, but it doesn't at the same time. Because at first I agreed with it, but after reading the series again, I kind of understood that might have already been in doubt. For starters, he was already going to be able to kill Yami and Asta and all that stuff while he was restricted. Okay, he was restricted as stated by Fenrir and the other captain. And the fact that when Asta hit him with the anti-magic, all three of the Eye of the Midnight Sun immediately was like, uh-oh. You know what I'm saying? We were trying to save that power for a reason, and that is now about to be unleashed. this is the problem. You know what I'm saying? And he immediately stopped all of their fights to go and help, go and stop this Licht. But like I said, he was already being sealed in his fight against Yami. And on top of that, not only is kind of debated just by that statement alone, but he also, when he's talking about him, says, like, yes, they're the strongest, and it's like a pause, and he says, in combat, they surpass me. So it's more in lines of he's kind of trying to say, like, yeah, fighting them one-on-one is a little bit of a different story. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of weird how it's just the fact the way he words it in both the anime and the manga is like he's kind of more in the lines implying that he simply has the more abundance of mana and stuff, and the third eye are simply stronger than him in terms of their combat. Because something to keep in mind is Patri is technically still just a kid around Asta's age. You know what I'm saying? Who hasn't really had that much fighting experience, and considering the elves were very peaceful, while Veto, Raya, and Fauna, at least the personnel to take over them, also had the memories and stuff, and would also understand exactly how to fight a lot better than someone around Asta's age who'd never even been in combat. Like I said, this is also kind of further solidified that it's more along with them being stronger than him in terms of combat rather than just overall mana and destructive ability. When he literally decides, when Asta hits him with his anti-magic and releases his seal, it allows him to literally go unrestricted now, and it forces all three of them, you know what I'm saying, Raya, Fauna, and Veto, to literally have to form a Trinity seal just to be able to stop that power that even all of the Magic Knights there, Charlotte, Jack the Ripper, and Nozel, were all sitting there pointless and like, yeah, this is way more than we can handle. And then the third eye ends up sealing, resealing that power back. So it just kind of goes to show that he definitely had a larger amount that it took three of them to seal. His next major opponent, of course, comes in the form of Julius Novachrono, the Wizard King. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and point this out now. I'm not trying to say that Patri is stronger than Julius, because it is heavily implied throughout the entire fight that Julius was holding himself back. But at the same time, even though he was holding himself back, the argument I'm going to make in this next segment is going to show that yes, he was being suppressed, but it still is a feat for Patri because of what I'm going to go over now. So what I'm trying to say is yes, he was suppressed, and I'm not trying to say Patri is stronger, but at the same time, when they first met the encounter, and we were first really introduced to Licht in the first place, Julius explains to Asta when he captures the members of I Am Midnight Sun, like, yeah, this is only a small fraction, showing that he's already suppressing himself and was just simply putting on a little show to show Asta, like, yeah, this is just the bare minimum of what you're going to need to become the Wizard King. This same suppressed Julius, when Licht shows up to rescue the rest of the Eye of the Midnight Sun, manages to take all of them but two, but in a process, Julius managed to hit him with one of his time spells that Patri himself states, I thought that I dodged that, but it seems that it hit me, and it shows in perspective, like, yeah, it shows that Julius, he even says that, yeah, Julius, the biggest obstacle, he's what we have to face, and that later comes to show just how much stronger Patri gotten from the time he first met Julius to their second fight, because then he's actually fighting Julius, and it's more on lines of this suppressed Julius, but this suppressed Julius, I will still say, is now putting up a bigger fight. He's actually catching, or rather blocking, a lot of Patri's attacks, and even amplifying it in terms of their speed and sending it back. Patri's able to dodge it more, and on top of it, he was able to even dodge a lot of the Wizard King's attacks, by the way, which the first time he met, he barely managed to do that. In fact, he didn't really damage, considering he got caught by the spell a little bit. At the same time, not only is he fighting Julius and is performing much better than he did the first time, but he was even able to tag Julius on multiple occasions, rather than the first time when they met, he really could barely even keep up with what Julius' suppressed power could do to him. I'm sorry. But the reason why this matters is because Julius himself even has to amp himself even further just to be able to actually overcome Patri's light magic. Now, this is, like I said, a really good feat, because I'm trying to tell you, even though he was suppressed the first time they met, it clearly shows that he's gotten stronger, considering the fact that he actually had to force Julius to at least amp himself a little bit further compared to the first time when he was a lot more heavily suppressed. So just another feat to show that he was clearly gotten stronger. The next thing that shows that he's clearly gotten stronger is how he is when he releases the seal the second time. Or, he can release it willingly, but of course Asta forced the seal the first time. When he releases it on his own the second time, he has enough magic overall in his unrestricted state to literally threaten and cover the entire Clover Kingdom, as stated by Julius. Now, the reason why this matters is because, yet again, in his first fight when he fought against Yami and had Asta break the seal, Charlotte does not say anything about him being able to destroy the entire kingdom. It actually just simply says, oh, he has enough power to destroy, or rather blow away, the area that they were in. But she does not make reference to being able to destroy the entire kingdom. She's mainly just referring to that cave area that they were in, and the fact that literally if they all stood there, they were most likely going to die. So yet again, that is just another piece of evidence showing that clearly Lit has gotten stronger compared to being able to destroy like a little mountain area versus an entire country, or at least spreading over an entire country is rather what I would say. To me, the last like damning piece of evidence that goes against is the fact that when we see this same Lit, or Patri, sorry, who just got done fighting Julius, ends up going into the sacred palace or whatnot, and when Yuno, I was about to say Uno, when Yuno is being possessed by the spirit elves and in spirit die form, by the way, he literally, him and Raya, an elven reincarnated Raya, by the way, I mean he has the elven boost, they literally stand side by side and activate their light source and conviction. And if you know anything about Black Clover, your mana amount really transcends to everything, such as your speed, durability, and power. And yet, even in this state, he's able to compete and be even with the same Raya. Now, like I said, the reason why this really matters is because this Yuno should be leagues above the same Asta who ended up defeating Spirit Ladros. This same Spirit Ladros is actually so, was so powerful that he actually went, after absorbing the Spirit Salamander, was stronger than Fauna of the Third Eye with her third eye open. So that already just shows, just verbatim, like it's the most blatant example I can give to show that he's clearly gotten much stronger, and the fact that he's long since surpassed the Black Asta form compared to what he was, that defeated Spirit Ladros, who was stronger than Spirit Fauna. It should just easily go to show that yes, the Patri that defeated Julius in the Clover Kingdom manga stuff, like that Patri is indeed a rival, if not clearly surpassing the Third Eye in just about every form or fashion. So that's really all I got to say on it. That's really the most damn piece of evidence that I really got in a lot of sense. So like I said, I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe if you enjoy. If you have your own opinion or want to pitch in, or you think I'm right, or you just think that I'm wrong, feel free to comment down below. I'm really happy to debate anyone in the comments. I like talking about this type of stuff because I love Black Clover as a series, and I love how the power system works, and I love talking about the scaling. So feel free, if you want to, like I said, comment below what you think of the video, or any points that I might have missed, or anything that you think I just got wrong. Just comment down below. I'm always happy. But until the next time, you guys, I will see you. Peace.